Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is a product showcase webinar this evening being presented by John Kinsler of Captel Caption Telephone. But first, I want to thank Stephen Heller of Alternative Communication Services for providing captioning this evening. And I hope everybody has captions that need them. The CC button is at the top of the video screen, or you can hit Control F8 on your keyboard. Tonight we have John Kinsler presenting See What Everyone is Talking About. And I just first want to mention how grateful we are to Captel Caption Telephone. As you probably know, they're a longtime supporter of HLAA and before that SHHH. And they are the exclusive 10th anniversary Walk for Hearing sponsor, and they are a longtime sponsor of our conventions. And I've lost track of how many times they have sponsored the awards breakfast and ceremony. I dare say that it's more than 20 years. So we're very proud to have them as a sponsor and supporter of HLAA, and thank them very, very much. John Kinsler, you may have met at our convention. He is the Captel Outreach Marketing Manager, and I am going to let him have the floor. Thank you again so much, John, for presenting.
Thank you for the lovely introduction, Nancy, and thank you, Caption Services, for providing the caption service. And welcome everybody to this webinar. I'm happy to be presenting this Captel, and I'm a Captel user myself, and it just made my life so much easier. And I remember every time when the phone rings, or I had Captel, I was like, could it be a challenging call? Am I going to have a person with an accent, or I don't know. Or am I going to have to say, I'm sorry, say that again, say that again. But now, I'm so happy to have a caption telephone, and Captel has just made my life a lot easier. And it gave me the confidence to just be able to pick up the phone and help anybody I can do, or over the phone. And I'm just excited about helping other people and to be familiar with Captel and how it can help make their lives easier as well. I'd like to start out with a video that we use, and it's a really touching video.
The Captel Caption Telephone. To a loved one, it's a sense of connection.
I wish I could be there with you.
Hey, I'm still loving you now.
To family,
Me.
it's a sense of relief.
The doctor said it's only a sprain.
And for those who have difficulty hearing over the phone, it's a lifeline to all that's important.
Can we turn off your steps today?
Like yesterday, I was you. Captel Caption Telephone Service. Because every moment, every connection counts.
So you can see the video that Captel affects many people with hearing loss, even their loved ones who can hear, so they don't have to scream into the phone anymore. So it really does make a big difference in people's lives. So to start out, I just wanted to mention that Captel is actually one of the products of Ultratech. Ultratech is the largest manufacturer of TTYs back then, and we still provide TTYs for those who need them. And a lot of times people say, well, Ultratech and Captel, it's one of Ultratech's products. So just wanted to point that out. What is Captel? Captel is short for Caption Telephone. It displays word-for-word captions during your calls, like captions on TV. It's exactly the same for your telephone. And like I said, it's invented by Ultratech, and it's a long-time leader in hard-of-hearing telecommunications. I guess I will advance the screen myself. Sorry. There we go. Now, a lot of times people don't understand what's really happening behind the scenes. Does the Captel phone does it by itself? What's really going on? We actually have live operators that actually listen to what the hearing person is saying to the Captel user or the person with hearing loss. When the hearing person speaks on the phone, the captionist listens to what the hearing person is saying and revoices everything verbatim, which then gets transcribed into captions on the display screen. And here you can see the diagram. Step number one, the Captel user and the other party, they both can talk to each other. and then whatever the other party says, the captioning service operator can listen, and then they transcribe the captions on the display screen. So that's basically what's happening behind the scenes. Unlike traditional relay, the operator is actually involved in the call, and they're asking for clarification and stuff. But here, our captioners, operators, are simply transparent. They're just simply listening to what the hearing person says and provide the captions. If something was not heard or something was not clear, the captions will put in unclear to empower the CapTel user to ask for clarification from what was being said on the phone. Hopefully, they will say it again, and the captioners will be able to hear it. So this actually empowers the CapTel user to take control of their own calls. The benefits of CapTel. We have superb audio quality in amplification. It goes up to 40 decibels. It's pretty loud. It has customizable tone control and frequency screening. It enhances your hearing experience over the phone. Captions there to reinforce or confirm what they say. Hear what you can, read what you need to. When I got my cochlear implant, I still needed help to understand what people are saying. And CapTel has been a great tool for me to practice to listen, and then if I think I got it right, I can look at the screen and the caption is there to help me to make sure I got it correctly. Moving on to the next screen. Ultratech has created a wide variety of products. Only CapTel gives users a choice of which telephone is most comfortable for their lifestyle. Whether people prefer a traditional style telephone or a touchscreen display, CapTel has the answer. If users require a large screen for easy reading or want the freedom and convenience of a mobile device, CapTel has the answer for that as well. That's the nice thing about Ultratech is very cognizant of all people with wide diverse disabilities. And because we provided this service for so long, we really want to help people to feel connected and be connected to the world. Here's a few products that we have for the CapTel. We have a large visual display. We have traditional style caption telephones, and we have a touch screen phone and mobile apps. Because not everybody has landline telephone service. Or maybe they travel a lot. Or for instance, if I get a flat tire and I need to call AAA, I can use that app and still be connected. CapTel family of product, because it doesn't really matter which phone you use. What matters is that you can understand every word of the conversation. CapTel gives you the confidence to enjoy calls again, knowing that captions will help you catch every word. When I help customers install their phones in training, a lot of times they feel intimidated, and I'm trying to help them to stay connected. Or they oftentimes let their spouses take care of the calls. And I said, what happens if their spouse is at the grocery store and they need information, like they left the grocery list at home? They need to get in touch with you. So I'm trying to get these people to be connected again, regardless of the hearing loss. Now, let's talk about traditional CapTel phones. We have CapTel 840, which is a non-internet-based model. And we have a CapTel 840i. Making a note of the letter I is the meaning internet. The CapTel 840 and 840i is for people who prefer a familiar phone that they're used to. Because a lot of times when new gadgets come in, some people feel intimidated by new products. And we want to make sure we have a product that for people who can feel comfortable with. For the 840 and 840i, we have available for use with the standard analog phone lines or standard analog line with high-speed internet with direct connect, or you can use Wi-Fi connection. just to give you a little diagram of what it looks like between the two models. The 840, the non-internet-based model. If you look on the right side, on the upper part of the diagram, you can see that there's ports for two phone lines, line 1 and line 2. People with one line can actually use the Captel 840. They can plug it in and get captions. There's a caption button on the screen on the phone. You press that button and the call will be connected to the caption call center and the call will be captioned. If you're using the Captel phone with only one phone line, the incoming callers will have to call an 800 number to set up captions. So they call the 800, which is the Captel voice number. They call the Captel voice number first, and then they will be prompted to enter in the Captel user's number. And when they enter in their Captel user's number, the Captel user's phone will ring, and then when they pick up the phone, they get another recording and say, please hold, the person you have called will be with you shortly, and then the connection is made and both parties can talk. Now, if people using the non-internet-based model, the Captel 840, and they do not want to have hearing people having to call that 800 number, they can install a second telephone line into the back of the Captel 840 phone, into line number 2. This does away with hearing people having to call that 800 number. That means all incoming calls will be captioned automatically with the availability of the second line. Now the next diagram down, the Captel 840, that's the internet-based model. You can see that it has to have a phone line, and you must have high-speed internet. There's an Ethernet port right there in the middle, and then of course power. Now the Captel 840i can be connected via the internet direct connect to the modem or the router, or it can be set up via Wi-Fi. So if you want to use it in a room where there's no Ethernet port, you can use that phone in the room you want to and have it set up via Wi-Fi. Now, the other model we have is a contemporary tablet-style model, which is the Captel 2400i. A tablet-style telephone with a large touchscreen display and helpful menu to graphics. Idea for those who want a contemporary-style telephone design. It also includes a touch key dialing pad, letting users dial the traditional number of buttons. So, if you have a tablet or you feel like you like the ease of being the touch screen, we now have where you can just touch the screen. It's got a lot of nice features in there. I can synchronize my sister's photo into there, and whatever she calls, her face will show up, and then I can decide if I want to answer or not. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a really nice feature to have, and it also has a built-in flasher in the back. So whenever you get like a phone ring, when the phone rings, it flashes. Or if you have messages you haven't viewed, it flashes. You can set it up for certain kind of minutes, seconds for how many times you want it to flash. Or caller ID history that you haven't viewed. So if you're coming home, you brought your groceries in, you don't have to go right up to the phone. You can just look at the phone, and if it flashes, that means you have messages waiting to be reviewed. So that's the Captel 2400i. Now, the Captel 880i is for people who have low vision, glaucoma, or macular degeneration. You can invert the color of the screen of this display screen to have high contrast, or you can have large size fonts, or certain colors for even people who have color blindness. They can have certain colors they like, or if the holidays are coming up, you can set it up for whatever color you want. So it's ideal for people with vision loss and difficulty reading standard caption size. And that's the Captel 880i. Now, you don't have to get a Captel phone in order to use captions. You can use any computer. And if I'm staying at my friend's house and I want to check my flights, I can actually go onto their computer and use the regular telephone, go onto Web Captel, go in, and we have Web Captel partners, which is Hamilton Captel and Sprint Captel. You go onto either of those sites, you register with them. Once you're in there, you put in the phone number you want to speak into. The next section, you put in the number you want to call to. Let's see, I'm running my flight to check my flights, and then place a call. The screen then changes to a big display screen for captions. My phone rings, and it says ring 1, 2, and then if they say hello, if it's a male or female, the whole screen changes to a caption display screen. You can try this today. If you don't have a Captel phone, you can actually try this at home and see how it works for you. Another nice thing about Web Captel is that at the end of a call, you can actually, a window pops up and they say, do you want to save conversation? Sure. I can copy and paste it onto Word, minimize it and print it out, and have the whole conversation. That's the only way you can actually get the caption to be printed out. But it's kind of nice to just have a caption service anywhere you go, so you're not without captions. So that's Web Captel. Now, what about those who are out and about, traveling around? Like I mentioned, if I get a flat tire and I need to call AAA, I can use my phone. Now, the cell phone has to have data and voice plan. It's not one of those flip phones, because you can't go on, if you don't have access to the internet, then you can't view the captions. So you need to have a phone that has, or smartphone, anything to have access to voice and data plan. So what happens here, when you register with our partner for mobile Web Captel, is Hamilton Captel. Once you register with them, same idea with Web Captel, you put in the phone number you want to speak into. For this, in this case, you will put in your cell phone number. Put your cell phone number in, and in the next section you put in the number you want to call to, and then place a call. Your cell phone is ringing. You open it, and then you go to the web browser to view the captions, and you got captions right there. Now, from there, I can either have it set up to my neck loop with Bluetooth to my cochlear implant, or I can have it on speakerphone, or you can use a headset with it plugged into the audio jacks. But you need to be able to speak into the mic. There's many different ways of how you can do this. So you have access to Captel anywhere you go. Now, this is the wonderful thing. Captel phones are available for free. Now, we have what we call the third-party certification of eligibility for IP Captel service. If you have high-speed internet at home and have landline telephone service, you can get a free caption telephone. It could be either the Captel 840i, the Captel 880i with the one with the large screen, or the 2400i with the one with the touch screen. This form you will need to fill out. On the upper right hand side of that form, you put your information in, and then you circle which model you want, the 840i, 880i, or the 2400i. And then you need to have a certifying professional. It could be your physician, audiologist, or a hearing-related professional. They need to sign and say, yes, this person does have a hearing loss, and they sign it. Once they sign that, they can fax it. Down there on the form right there, there's a green window box. And above that, there's information how they can fax it. They can either send it by email, they can fax it to us, or they can mail it to us. Once we receive this form, a representative will be in touch with the person and to set up a date and time to install a caption telephone and provide one-on-one, high-quality customer service training, one-on-one, just to make sure they are comfortable using the caption telephone. And there's no cost to them. There's no cost for using the captioning service. There's no cost for the installation. And there's no cost for the caption telephone. It's a free service. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to www.captel.com. Now we have outreach people, outreach for installers that actually go out and give presentations, free installation assistance in-home or over the phone, outreach team members in communities nationwide, and we provide Captel customer service 24/7. There is a Captel customer service button on every one of these phones. It's a blue button. Once you push that button, you are instantly connected to Captel customer service. Now, this is what I'm really excited about, this new product. Like I said, Ultratech is very cognizant of, making sure that everybody stays connected, regardless of their disability. This is coming soon. It's for people with combined hearing and vision impairment. Just like the Captel 880i, we now have a Captel 880i LV for people with low vision. It has an 11-inch display screen, and you have even extra large size fonts and large buttons on the phone. Now this is for those, if the Captel 880i, when you have regular large fonts, if you need something bigger, this would be ideal for those who need that. But that's coming soon. And for the Captel 2400i, we have even a large fonts to be displayed on the display screen. As you can see on the display right here, you can see even large captions. Now this is for people with low vision. And again, you can invert the color of the screen to have a dark background with white or yellow letters for high contrast if they need that. Now for those, even if the screen is not large enough, you can have a large display captions by simply having a specialized Captel 880i LV that has a HDMI port on the back of the phone and an HDMI cable that goes to the HDMI port on the back of a large TV screen. And this way, everything that's being displayed on the Captel display screen is also going to be shown on the big TV screen. And you can have easy viewing captions of what's being said on the Captel phone. Now that was for low vision. We are also coming out with a Braille Captel phone for people who have who can't see at all, and they use a Braille reader display. This is for people who are completely blind and have hearing loss. So we do not provide the Braille reader device. We're showing that we can work with any dynamic Braille reader devices. What you see, that little keyboard down below, that's what people are using to read the Braille machine. So we have it linked, either direct connect to the Captel phone, or you can have it connected via Bluetooth. And they can actually read and listen what people are saying on the phone. So whatever shows up on the screen is also going to be showing up on the pop-up screen. It's really cool. I tried it myself, and all these little, I don't know how to read Braille yet, but I'm getting there, trying to figure out what the pins mean. But it's just really exciting to see people who can't see and who can't hear, and they're like, oh wow, I can understand what people are saying now. So it's really nice that we have that set up for that. That's coming soon. Now, for people who are, just like we have Web Captel for traveling around, they can also, people who are blind and have a hearing loss, they can use this Web Captel using their phone, cell phone, and a small, compact Braille device or any portable Braille reader device that they carry with them. And then you can synchronize it to the iPhone, for example, and like when you have mobile Web Captel on your phone, all the words that this displays on the phone will also be come through the Braille reader device. And it works with any dynamic Braille reader device. So this way, if the person wants to call for a cab or Uber, they can simply make a phone call and hear the captions using the display screen and be connected to get a cab or for transportation or whatever they need. So that's kind of nice. Oftentimes, I love hearing testimonials from our customers, and sometimes it just really touches me when I hear people, like, because a lot of times, especially with hearing loss, especially for those who are progressively losing their hearing loss. They kind of like isolate themselves and they don't get connected to the world. CapTel had created an outlet for these people, and it really touched many people's lives, not just the CapTel users or people with hearing loss, but their family and friends and their loved ones. Here's one quote. One person says, "CapTel has helped me very much and relieves the stress I used to have when talking on the phone. It's great. Like I said before, CapTel came to my life, I would get really nervous about am I going to even understand this person or not. And now I have that confidence." Another person says, "I now know exactly what the other party is saying. Before CapTel, I couldn't understand a lot of what the other party was saying, and that made conversation difficult." So with CapTel, it makes it easy. Here are some more testimonials. "I have not been able to talk on the phone for 10 years. Now I talk to my daughter in New York and my brother in Alaska. Thank you, CapTel." Another person says, "This has been the best service I could ever dream of for my 86-year-old aunt. We finally can have a real conversation again." She has stated repeatedly how much nicer it is to be able to understand what we are talking about. And it's the way it should be. Everybody should stay connected, or not have to feel like they have to say one word and afraid of that person's not going to understand. And that's the joy about being able to provide this service for many people with hearing loss. I'd like to open this time now for anybody who has any questions. And I think that Nancy is going to help me moderate the questions, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Several. Several questions. Bobby starts out and says there's sometimes too long of a lag between what the person is saying and what comes up on the screen. How are you addressing that in terms of advancing technology and so forth?
I understand that there is a delay, and the reason why there is a delay because there's an operator who has to listen to what the hearing person says and revoices everything verbatim, and then it gets transcribed into captions on the display screen. We are aware of that, and there is no really quick solution for it. We try to, there are some tips you can actually do, and what that is, if for some reason the caption is like delayed, you can actually, if it's an internet-based model phone, you can press the caption button off and press it again. Hopefully, maybe the connection, maybe the delay could be related to the connection, we're not sure. But when you turn that caption button off and turn it on again, you get a different operator. Maybe the operator is able to hear the conversation better, or this way you get to a different operator, and that's one way. That's one of the tips that we provide. As far as the delay, a lot of times people don't want to, people are asking, what's taking you so long to respond? Sometimes educating the hearing person that you're using a special phone that allows you to read and hear the captions. There's a slight delay for the captions to show up. And or sometimes people may not decide or chose not to tell the people that they're using the caption telephone, but they do some kind of like ad-libbing, like, let me see, hold on 1 second, I need to write this down. That's another tip that we often give to people. Let's see what else.
Now, are you ready for your next question?
Go ahead. Sure.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Okay. The next part of that question is, if you're on the CapTel phone on a call and another call is coming in, the incoming caller ID does not show up. Is that something that you're working on?
You know, that's a very interesting point, and I would be definitely share that with the engineering department for review. That's like if I want to call, another call comes in, it'd be nice to know who's calling in. But you can toggle out on that one call and just if you're on an internet-based phone or whatever, you can just press the flash button to get to the other call, find out who it is, and then tell them you're on the call, and then hit the flash button again to get back to the original call. But for right now, to be able to view who that incoming call on caller ID while you're already on the phone is not technically a bit ready yet, but I will be definitely share that with the engineering department for further review.
Okay. Vicki from Colorado Springs would like to know if you could bring a couple of models to try out so she can decide which one. I'm not sure if she means bring them out to Colorado Springs or maybe she means bring them to convention.
Absolutely, yes. We have, even the OEI representative can actually, if the customer is not sure which model they want, I mean, that would be something that the representative, when they contact the person and say, I noticed you didn't select which unit that you wanted, can you tell me more about how, do you have any vision issues, or how do you feel about touchscreen? And if they're still not sure, the representative will actually bring several devices and make sure the customer is comfortable with the right selection that they have. And so make sure they're comfortable with the process in selecting their phone.
So who should she contact in Colorado?
I'm sorry?
Who shall she contact in Colorado, or should she go through the website?
Once you go to the website, you can call the CapTel 800 number, and the representative or sales rep will give her the information that she needs, and we'll get it connected with the outreach representative, and then they're given that information, or have a representative get in touch with them.
Okay. John, can you discuss the availability of a unit with a built-in answering machine?
Well, all of our CapTel phones have a built-in answering machine. Yeah, I didn't mention that, sorry. But they do have a built-in answering machine, and we also, where you can actually, if you're paying for, if you have a remote answering machine or you're paying for voicemail services, you can save your money, just stop those services and use CapTel and have a built-in answering machine on your CapTel phone. Now, if you have a CapTel phone there and you have another other phones in the house that have a built-in answering machine and they live with other people in the household, they need to decide which answering machine they need to have on. You can't have both of them on because they're both going to lock in. So yeah, it does have a built-in answering machine, and you can customize your greeting messages, certain number of rings if they can't get to the phone right away, and so all of our home, I don't know where that came from. So yeah, all of our CapTel phones have a built-in answering machine.
Okay. Terry asked, there are multiple captioning phones available. What's the difference in the captioning quality between the different manufacturers' phones? Not sure if you can answer that or not.
Well, we are the inventor of caption telephones. I mean, we've been providing this service for over 16 years. And we provide word-for-word captions of what people are saying. Nothing is summarized. So you actually hear exactly everything that's being said on the phone, even including background sounds. But our operators relay everything word for word. Now that's what we have. That's the big difference that we provide. And another nice thing is that our products, we have different kinds of phones to fit different lifestyles. And we also, with the caption service, we have 90% word accuracy for providing 98 word accuracies on providing captions. So if the word shows up phonetically wrong in the caption, because we're using voice recognition, and sometimes when they come across and it comes out with a different spelling, the operators will put in the right word and type it in if they have to, where it's needed. Now, for the, our Captel phone, we have different models to fit different lifestyles. We have Captel phone for those who don't have high-speed internet, because not everybody has high-speed internet. And we also have high-speed internet, a traditional style, maybe less intimidating for some people who are not comfortable with all the touchscreen. We have a Captel phone designed for people with low vision, so they can have a big screen. We have a Captel phone for, like for me, my office. I don't, if I want to have a little black phone in my office and touchscreen and stuff, that fits my lifestyle. Another nice thing about these phones is that they have, I forgot to mention, is that it has a built-in audio jack. So if I'm multitasking, I can plug in a headset and plug into the audio jack so I can have my hands free and just do my work on the computer and then glance at the screen and multitask if I have to. One person then asked, where is the caption button on the phone? Or maybe they're asking about where is the caption button on for the webinar. I'm not sure which that question is for. I think it's for the webinar. I'll let you control the question. Sorry, Nancy.
Okay. All right. I'll answer that question in a moment. Can more than one Captel phone be at the same phone number? So, in other words, could you have one in your bedroom and one out in your family room?
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
Okay. When there is a voicemail on your phone, is that then captioned? How do you hear your voicemail?
People who have voicemail, they actually use their Captel phone to dial to the voicemail box and then enter in that way, and then they can get captions on the display screen of what the voicemail message is saying.
Okay. All right. I think there might have been some confusion about the technology. I'm just going to go back for you to the one slide where you say how it works, because you actually have an operator that is hearing the voice and then transcribing what is heard verbatim to the person with hearing loss. So I just wanted to go back to that slide because you're not using voice recognition software, which I can tell you is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So maybe you could just explain again how this all works.
Looking at the screen, the diagram, the Captel user and the other party, they both can talk voice. Now that's real time. Now, because the Captel user has a hearing loss, they can't quite make out everything what the person is saying. Sometimes amplification alone is not enough. They need to have captions. So the other party, the hearing person, when they speak, the operator, the captioning at the caption call center, the captioning service, is listening to what the hearing person is saying. So let's say the hearing person says, "Hi John, how are you?" The captionist will listen and they re-voice everything verbatim. It's through the voice recognition software program. So they say, "Hi John, how are you?" And then it gets transcribed into captions on the display screen. So so we are using voice recognition, and they're doing some typing for corrections if anything pops up in error. Does that help? No,
I think so. I think so. That's
okay.
It's I don't believe I've ever seen the call center. I know that we had some of our board members go to your call center when our convention was in Milwaukee back in 2010. I would have loved to have seen that because I'm sure it's really something to see.
I know because all of our calls, our operators follow a strict code of ethics and confidentiality. We can't really have people actually go out on the floor, but we can take people through to see how the Captel phones on how it's being manufactured. We can set up a kind of like how we train our operators. That's where actually we can show them how it actually works and what's happening behind the scenes. So if we have a large group of people stopping by in Wisconsin or any one of our call centers, we'd be happy to show them how it actually is processed. Because I know it's really good for some people to actually see what's really happening behind the scenes. And like I said, we follow, our operators follow a strict code about the confidentiality. The same rules as traditional relay. Nothing, no record of any conversation being stored, kept, or relayed, or shared with anything. Once the call is done, all of the conversation is gone. However, on the Captel phone itself, it does have the capacity to be able to save conversations. But that's up to the user to decide whether they want the conversation to be saved or not. If they work for the government or state and they follow the HIPAA law, they have to make sure that they delete those conversations at the end of the call. And you can do that, but by going into the settings. The operator cannot.
Okay.
Or if the court for some reason wanted to subpoena our operator to go to court, whatever, they cannot do that. Call the operators in, because usually, just like a regular interpreter, when you're interpreting something, it goes through one ear and it goes throughout the other. And a lot of times you can't remember all the information that's being processed. It's against the law. They cannot do that.
That was a really good question. I wondered about that myself. John, in your slides, you had the Hamilton Captel logo and the Sprint Captel. Explain the relationship there. I understand it because I work here, but I'm just wondering if everybody understands what the relationship is between Captel and then Hamilton and Sprint Captel.
We are partnered with Sprint and Hamilton. Sprint and Hamilton provide relay services in different states. So, depending on the state, it will be Sprint State or Hamilton. Now, I know a lot of times people get confused. They see Sprint Captel or Hamilton Captel, and then they see Captel Our Booth, and they get confused, and they think that what's going on. They're actually our partners, and that's the nicest thing, that we have our partners who are actually using our service as part of the features, services that they offer. So they're actually our partners, and they are providing the service for the service in their state, because they're relay providers, like traditional relay. They also provide the relay service in that state. So that's pretty much just saying that we're partners with them. Okay.
That explains it. I want to point out to everybody that Captel will be at Convention 2016 here in Washington, D.C. They always have a huge booth and do a demo, and of course they sponsor the awards breakfast, which is on Sunday morning, and that's always a really nice event, and we get to actually see John speak in person during that. I just wanted to also mention that this webinar has been recorded, and we'll post it along with John's PowerPoint and the link to the video. We'll post that on our website. Usually within a week or so, we'll have it up there, and then you can watch it again as many times as you'd like and share it with your chapters or family, so that they can understand too the value of the caption telephone.
I do want to mention.
Another question I see is if you want more than one phone for a different room of the house, is the second one also free, or do you have to pay for that one?
For the 840 model, you mean? For the non-internet based model?
I think for any model, if you wanted to have more than one in your house.
Yeah, you can have as many phones as you want in your house. You all need, if you have an internet-based model, it needs to connect to the modem via Wi-Fi, and it's free. So I know there's some people that can't run to this one phone. If you need multiple phones in your house, sure, absolutely. they can get more than one phone in the house.
Okay, so are those subsequent phones also free, or do they have to pay for those?
What do you think? Subsequent phones are also free. Yes, it's free.
Okay.
I do want to mention
That answered the
that
question.
our outreach representatives, actually, if you need a presentation in your area for your organization or your chapter, please do not hesitate to contact us. We will come out and give a presentation and talk about CapTel and help people to get CapTel phones. And we'll take care of the rest of installing these phones for them. And we just need to make sure that there's so many people out there with hearing loss who are just isolated, and CapTel is one way to get connected to the other party. And I can't stress enough, because I've seen this a lot, and I've seen people just like stranded, and it really changes their life when they get the CapTel phone, and they're like, oh boy, I can't wait to make phone calls now. So yes, we're our representatives. We can do presentations, whatever you need. Please do not hesitate to contact us. And also, don't forget to like us on our Facebook page or Twitter. There's a lot of information on our website, www.captel.com. And we also have a Facebook page and Twitter. So come and join us on our Facebook page and Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever, and we'll be connected. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Here's my contact information right there, my email and phone number. I also have a video phone number. My BP phone number is for those who are using sign language and can't hear at all. They can call my video phone number, and that number is 608-234-5067.
John, I just thought of one additional question. When you have your booth at the convention, is it possible to make live calls at your booth, or
yes, absolutely,
or not?
yes. You can, yeah, we stress this enough. We're trying to get people to come out and try our phones, and you can make free long-distance calls at our booth, and we want people to try it. Sometimes just having a hands-on experience and having your representative there to guide you through, we want people to feel comfortable making phone calls. So yes, please stop by our booth at the convention and try our phones and see what the latest that we have to.